Okay, should be able to hear me now. Okay, so as I was saying before, I guess I wasn't interrupted, but we got sound now. You should be able to hear me. But anyway, we're at 797 subscribers, making our way to 1,000 subscribers. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in and sharing this with your friends and your family. As I was saying, I'm here. We got Miracle here. We also got Kenya here. And you'll see that we're going to be talking about how rotten women are, maybe perhaps the reason for the rotten culture. Follow us at all of our socials, the Quality Group, Quality Entertainment, and we're going to talk to you about a Substack that's coming out soon. So we'll give you more information about that in the coming days and weeks. We'll also have a profitable conversation on Tuesday, breaking down some of the stuff that Miracle and Alan talked about on yesterday's episode of The Conscious Outlet. It was a conversation last night. How are you ladies doing today?
Not bad at all. Oh, I can't hear you.
Yours is not on. All right, okay. Miracle, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well. It's been a slow week, and I like that. Have time to get my goals together for the year and just make sure that I'm on the right track towards the things that I want to accomplish.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What about you, Miss Kenya Mac?
I'm good. It's a new week to do the things the Lord has placed on my heart. So love it.
Nice. Awesome. So we're going to run through these topics really quick. So we're going to be talking about a woman who has slept with 300 people in a year, and she went viral for that last year. We're going to talk about how Megan Fox hates men. We also talk about Arianna and how she is proud of being a homewrecker, which is just beyond me. And we're going to be talking about some degenerate women who tried to twerk on a pastor out in the UK who was, I believe the pastor was Ghanaian, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, just some absurd things going on. And then to top it off, Miss Kenya Mac will have a Faith and Beyond segment where she'll talk about wellness and balance, beginning with Jesus. So let's get into the show here. All right. So first topic. First topic. So a woman sleeps with 300 people in a span of 365 days. Now that is just pure whoredom. Trifling. And so this brings up, what is the reason? I don't know. But I do have a question. And that question is, why do we champion women for their whoredom?
Who is we?
Us as a culture and a society. Why is this woman in the headlines?
Why is third?
Yes.
That's why.
I was going to say that because it's spicy and they know people will have varying opinions on it from both sides.
It's all about the shock factor.
Yes.
Which would, so I think even in a healthy society, this would probably be a topic of conversation and a headline, but I think it would be talked about and approached in a very different way because like the title of the article that we'll go over in just a second is like, I famously slept with 300 people in like 365 days. Now I'm trying to get rich. And so now she's on Cameo and she's selling audio voice messages for like 60 or 80 bucks a message, which is just beyond me. And it just doesn't make sense. So it's like,
I'm confused.
Why are we championing people for their whoredom? I don't get it.
It just goes back to like degeneracy and stuff like that because, I mean, she wouldn't be able to make $60 a pop for some sexy audio message if there wasn't a market for it.
I don't even think it's like a sexy audio message. They were talking about it just being for like people's birthdays and
So she's trying to be like iconic or something?
I guess that's what she's saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Because I saw it as like not OnlyFans, but like something similar. Like she has a similar community of people for those kind of things.
Right, and they just want to hear her voice.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. All right. Let me get to my first sip. So my first sip is sleeping around or whoredom isn't empowering or knowing your worth. It's actually selling your soul for cheap. So what do y'all think about that statement to get us started?
It's absolutely true. I mean, it's funny how we're in a culture where we hide these type of practices under the guise of empowerment. Like, and it's not that at all. It's funny because the narrative first used to be us containing our bodies and holding out for the purpose of ensuring to everyone else, especially men, that, you know, we are valuable in the way where you can't access me.
Right.
But
Until
now,
you put a ring on it.
yeah, exactly. And so now it's coming to a point where they're trying to flip that narrative and now say you can sleep with whoever you want and still be accessible and hold your value in the exact same way. And that doesn't work that way.
No, it does not work that way at all. And they're only digging themselves in a hole because once they get older and they realize they probably shouldn't have done all of that, and or they realize, oh, now I can't get like the kind of man that I really want.
Yeah.
Or they realize, it's a little hard to have kids now. Yeah, it's just a waste of time. So
It is. It causes a lot more problems than it's
A
worth.
lot more,
Like
yeah.
spiritually, even physically. Like, you know, a lot of women get abortions from this kind of thing because, you know, they don't want to actually keep the child of a bunch of strangers.
Yeah.
And now you have scar tissue from that. Now you can't have
Scar
kids, like you
tissue.
said. And now, you know, even
and mental turmoil.
yeah,
like,
exactly.
yeah.
There's even like scientific research to suggest that, and I know this is true anyway, but now there's like written articles about it where it's like as a woman, with every man you sleep with, there's like a little piece of DNA inside of you for like an extended period of time. And so think about what that could mean for someone who has slept with that many people. And even spiritually, like what we were just saying, and what that can mean for your psyche. And now you're wondering why you're always angry, or you're wondering why you have personality traits that you didn't before, or feelings that you didn't before. And it's because you're literally not acting like yourself because you took on all these spirits.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I think that the reason I'll put the first sip back up there is it's selling your soul for cheap, because if you're a woman of character and you have principles, then that's your first line of defense, right? And so if you're just passing yourself out and around everybody, and like you said, Miracle, and it's under the guise of, oh, I'm empowering myself or I'm knowing my worth, right? Then no, it's like you're just giving yourself out for free, for very cheap. It's like fast food meals. It's like, it's really easy. Everybody can go grab it. It's cheap. And yeah, sure, it tastes good, but it's not good for you. But when you're a woman of principle and you have character, or just a person of principle in general, then you understand that those principles and those standards are the first line of defense. It's like, hey, will you sleep with me? It's like, no, I'm actually, being reserved for God, for my husband, right? The only people that can truly have your soul are the people who give you, that commitment back to them. Like, God has given himself to us, and he's proven it by, giving us his son. And then your husband, or your spouse, if you are the husband, there's a commitment there that says, hey, I'm giving all of myself to you, and now we are in a covenantal relationship, in a space where this practice can be good. I'm not just selling my body, not in a prostitutional way, or like literally exchange for money, but I'm not giving my body to just anybody, right? It's actually reserved. My spirit and my soul is reserved for, a greater purpose, other than just, oh, I'm just out here hoeing around and that's it.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think that, women like this are, it's a danger to society, because you have not only all these men just lusting after her, which, I mean, that's their own fault. Like, you need to have some more self-control. But then you have a lot of these women who want to emulate that, because they see that it can be profitable, and they can see
Yeah.
that as a way of a come up, or they just see that she's getting all this attention and they want that attention for themselves as well.
Yeah, and that's something like that kind of breaks my heart for the girls out there that have done the right thing, but they found themselves in like bad relationships or something. So then they see her or they see people like her and they're like, well, F it, I'm just gonna go do what she does and maybe I'll get better outcomes. And it's like, no, they're probably gonna get way worse outcomes than you already have. So
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. So here's the article. It says, I famously had sex with 300 people in 1 year. Now I want to get rich in 2024. Oh my God! This is crazy. So that's her. Her name's Annie Knight.
She's
The article, yeah, I mean, she's an attractive girl. The article
Makes
starts
me
off
sad.
with sex sells. It literally starts off with sex sells. And it says an Australian woman who hit headlines for sleeping with 300 people in a year has kicked off 2024 by unveiling an unlikely new business venture. Annie Knight, who's 26, so she's our age. Well, you're 27 now, right?
Yeah.
Miracle. So basically our age, is launching an account on Cameo, a website where fans can pay for personalized video messages from celebrities. While Knight is not an A-lister per se, the bisexual bombshell is certainly trying to capitalize on her newfound notoriety, charging $80 a pop for a recorded message, following in the footsteps of the notorious newsmakers like ousted Long Island Congressman George Santos and former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
those are two completely different spectrums, though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
Like
not the same lane.
politicians and then a
A
girl
girl
that has
who-
sex with a bunch of people. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, yeah, it's unreal. So can y'all even imagine because one, it says that she's bisexual. So now she's dealing with not only just one gender, she's dealing with everybody.
Yeah.
She's just like, hey, you come here, I got you on Tuesday, you on Wednesday, you on Thursday. Also,
or
I think,
both of you on the same day.
yeah, she's probably
Yeah.
down for some, freaky deaky stuff like that as
Like,
well.
when did you get a break?
Yeah, you don't. You only got 65 days off.
Exactly.
It's just not healthy for you.
No.
It's not healthy, and like especially for women, like they have a different body part than men, and their body part holds bodily fluids for longer periods of time.
There's a lot more that can go on.
Yeah, and so it's just no, it's very sad that
It just sounds like empty.
yeah, it's very
Yeah.
empty and unsanitary, and you gotta wonder like what happened in this woman's life to where she gets to the point where she's like, up, I'm giving it up to everybody.
What I found is usually it starts with some type of molestation or sexual assault of some kind when they were younger. That's what I usually hear when it comes to people that grow up and become really hypersexual, especially with women. And I wouldn't doubt that likely happened in her childhood.
Yeah, it normally comes from some type of trauma,
Yeah.
something, or just not being given the attention that she so desired from like a man. Like maybe her dad wasn't in the household, or if he wasn't very present in her life, wasn't like a strong guide for her, just kind of let her do whatever. And so now she's seeking the attention of anybody who will give it to her. And on top of the fact that she just has a predilection for just liking the act of intercourse. She's like, well, I can get attention and I can have fun while doing it. But I mean, there's severe consequences to that.
At
So-
what cost?
Yeah, at what cost? And that's why I say you're selling your soul for the cheap in this instance. So let's read a little bit more into this. It says, Knight sleeps with both men and women and told the radio program that she met many of her sex partners on dating apps. She added that she also had a roster of regulars whom she kept on speed dial. However, the busy bed hopping beauty, what a name. Like, why would you want to be known
I know.
for, and that's a good alliteration, by the way. Busy bed hopping beauty is also on the lookout for love. Bruh. What?
That doesn't
Knight
make
is
sense.
currently on a mission to go on 52 dates in 52 weeks, saying she's been single for the past 3 years.
Okay, that makes sense.
That-
So that usually when people are hypersexual like this, again, they like we mentioned earlier, they are in need of something, and it's usually love. So that makes sense that she's still looking for that.
Yeah, but you
But
first
you're
have
not
to love
gonna-
yourself
Yeah.
Yeah.
in order to, like, what type of love is she looking for? It's probably this grandiose idea in her head
usually is.
Romantic
that hasn't,
comedy kind of love.
right, and this fantasy hasn't been met in real life. She's not going to meet it. And what makes you think that going on 52 dates in 52 weeks is going to help
Yeah.
you
Accomplish that.
find the one, essentially? Because what if the one was week 1 or 2 or
Right.
3? It's like, no, I left him in the past.
Yeah.
So
You
what?
can't really get to know anyone.
Right.
52
can't.
dates in 52 weeks. So that's one person a week.
Yeah. It's
You
just
can't know someone like that.
yeah. I mean, it's just a marketing play. It's actually kind of a brilliant marketing play for those
Like a
who
TV
are
show or something. But
yeah, for those who
I was
are
thinking
like
a reality show,
invested
yeah.
in it.
Game
So
show of some sort.
yeah, but I mean, it's a crazy world that we
Yeah.
live in. So we mentioned that she's going on 52 dates in 52 weeks. I think she was on week like 8 or so, and she was like, "Man, I kind of need a break. Like this is kind of
you need a break from dating, but you don't need a break from sleeping with people.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
crazy.
confused.
yeah." So you didn't need a
really?
break when you were bed hopping, the busy bed hopping beauty, whatever they just said. But let's see what she had to say
She wasn't
after
sore?
about week.
So wait, okay,
Hey.
hold on. Before we get into that. So I guess it's like mentally exhausting to like form a connection with somebody.
Okay.
But it's not mentally or not exhausting to share your body with somebody. That's very interesting.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
Mentally and
because
spiritually exhausting.
Yeah.
Because it takes more out of you
It does.
when you're mentally and spiritually connected. But if you're just casually hopping around, it's like, yeah, I might be sore.
You can do
I
it
might
and be
feel
done.
this, but it's just like, oh, it's
Yeah.
my body. But when you don't treat your body and your soul as like one, then that is that you're not treating yourself as highly as you could. You're not holding yourself in high esteem. And that's why she seems to have
Yeah.
be of low self-esteem, even though she's propped up as somebody
And
that
she-
we should
yeah,
esteem.
And she looks confident and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah.
But inside is once
She's-
again empty.
Exactly. She's not treating herself like a complete person.
Yeah, let's get into the mind of Miss Annie Knight.
Date number 9 of 52 dates that I'm going on this year. I'm going to be real with you. I had a week off. I was really, really exhausted. And I was actually really sick last week, but I was just...
So she said she had a week off. So that means she didn't go. Well, I guess you can still go on 52 dates in 52 weeks.
Yeah,
you just have to do it in the time
two.
frame. But it's
Yeah.
not like she's not hitting the one per week.
Yeah.
So that means she's got to double up, which means that she will be going on dates just to go on dates to hit the number.
Right.
Right.
Not
And
to actually
Yeah.
get something substantial.
so is
Yeah.
she really looking for love, or is
I don't
it?
think so. I think it's like you said, it's a marketing ploy.
Yeah.
I do. I don't think it's about love at all for
Let's-
her.
Yeah. Let's continue.
I needed a bit of a break. People don't realize how exhausting going on first dates are. And even if you see them a few times, it's like, it takes a lot of energy out of you. So I
Yeah, so that's like what you were saying, guys, where, yeah, it's kind of exhausting going on a first date because when you're trying to get to know somebody, like you have to be very present. You can't just be aloof, right? Like Kenny and I, we know each other pretty well. So there's some times where we're just kind of like out of it and we're just talking and going through the motions a little bit. But then we got to check each other and be like, oh, like,
Did you
no.
hear me?
Yeah, did you hear me? Like, let's break up the monotony, right? But
Right.
when you're meeting somebody new and fresh, right? One, there's this excitement with, oh, something new. Like everybody kind of gets that excitement, but also you do have to go through the process of getting to know somebody. And if she's doing it for the purposes that she says she's doing it, which is to find love, then I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're trying to meet 52 people and really get to know them on a quest to find love and make that deep connection, yeah, that's going to be exhausting because loving one person is a hard thing to do, especially
Amen.
if you're trying to do it for an eternity.
Yes.
So, I mean, good luck to her.
But like,
Yeah.
I just needed a week off, which I know is like against the whole point of the videos, but like, I just needed a break, guys. Okay. This date was like very spur of the moment. I met a guy out, and then he asked me out for drinks the next day. We went out for some drinks, and I think I had beer goggles on. Not to say he was unattractive, but I definitely had beer goggles on. And he did not look like how I remembered him from the night before. Not that.
I wonder if she's sleeping with her dates.
I wonder that too. But I also, like, why are you drinking so much on your first date when you're supposed to get to know them?
I'll tell you, because she's trying to desensitize herself from what her life has become.
Oh, that's good.
She doesn't really like what she's doing, but it's creating a
Making
living
videos.
for her.
Yeah. That's very true.
That's selling your soul right there.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving her
Yeah.
body to whoever. Yeah, it's literally
Body and
selling your
time.
soul. It's like, I'm giving my body and my time so that I can make some money. All right, and that's the real definition of selling your soul. It's not like, oh, I saw the devil in the back alley in the physical flesh, and he gave me this contract, and I signed the other day. It's like, no, that's metaphor. Like, let's put these things into perspective.
This is what it means.
Practical.
Yeah, this is what it means, and this is what we do here on this channel. It is Quality, where we give you some practical guidance and practical religion. Let's proceed.
That was an issue. His personality just was a little bit off. He was just like,
I'm sure it was.
Well, I don't know what's wrong with me. I always go for like, I don't know. I like meet someone, or I see someone online or whatever, and then I get this like false depiction of what they're like in my head. Like, I make up what they're gonna be like, and then when they don't meet that like expectation, I get disappointed.
Hold up.
And that's exactly why she will never find love unless she changes her whole mentality and her whole heart towards what love actually is. Because love is a very sacrificial thing. Like, love isn't, oh, I can just go jump in and hop into people's beds, or I can go do whatever. I can go on this girl's trip. I can do this. It's like, no, you have to sacrifice some things for the good of the marriage. Because when you devote your life to somebody, your lives become one, which is to say that you need to have a common vision and a common mission and something that you're working towards so that y'all can stay together for the benefit of both of you and the benefit of the marriage. And oftentimes that starts with having good core values. So of course, as Christians on this channel, it's going to be, okay, God's holding us together, but we still have to be on one accord as far as where God is leading us to in our lives. So he can't lead Kenya and I. Kenya's my fiance. He can't lead Kenya over this way to be a missionary around the world and then lead me to do something in the States. It's like, we're never going to see each other. We're not going to be aligned. We're not headed in the same direction. And so, we got the same core values. And so, check. But we don't have the same vision, right? And we're not on the same mission. So, we may have the same vision as far as like what we want to impact the world, but we're not on the same mission. And so we're not headed down the same road. So it's not going to work. Now, this young lady, she's not even meeting guys or filtering out for their same core values, because what did she say? The first thing she said was, oh, he was a little quirky, a little off, right? It wasn't like, oh, his values didn't align with mine. It seems like this girl doesn't really have any values.
She doesn't know what she wants, essentially, because you can see her hesitating to even really explain what it is that she's looking for in a person. All she did was explain her process of what it looks like when she is attracted to a person. And
or when that person is attracted to her.
Exactly. But there's nothing really beyond that, because she's never focused on anything beyond that. That's why it's easy for her to go on a first date and get drunk and
then peace
numb
out
herself.
to the next date.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's what happened, basically. He didn't meet that expectation that I had of that like preconceived idea of who he was, and then I got disappointed, and then I was like,
oh,
this
something I wanted
isn't
to add.
the one.
When she was talking about expectations, that's something that's never going to work in any kind of healthy, stable relationship. Because once you have expectations and they don't meet the expectations, then you're like, oh, well, they didn't do what I wanted them to do.
And then you peace out.
But how is someone supposed to know what you want them to do if you don't tell them what you're thinking, what you're assuming, what you're expecting from them? It's just not healthy.
At all. I completely agree.
You guys, she's giving a test and said, "Oh yeah, just take the test." It's
It's like I didn't study. What
like
is
yeah,
it? What is
you,
it?
just gotta
didn't
take
give
the
me
test.
Right.
Yeah,
We'll
it's gonna
see
be
what
graded on
happens.
a rubric, and it's like, okay, what's on the rubric? Like, how are you gonna grade the test? Oh, don't worry about it. Just take the test. Like, no, that's not how it works.
Exactly.
I at least know what course I'm taking before I take the test. You know, I'm not just gonna. Yeah, it's absurd.
I don't know. It's really bad. Anyway, I probably need to see a therapist, but I
Right
do see
you-
a therapist.
right you are.
I just don't talk about relationship stuff. Maybe I should. This is date number 9 of 52 dates that I'm going on this year.
So yeah,
Jesus and that therapist.
so that is it. So when you sleep around with a lot of people, as she has done, like you develop a lot of things that you shouldn't have to experience.
Yeah.
It's kind of a self-inflicting wound that I hope she can heal from.
I do
I
too.
hope
Yeah.
that she gets some help. But another influencer, her name's Jedediah. She's been on Valuetainment a lot. She hasn't put out stuff on her YouTube channel recently, but she has an old clip that is really good and is basically what happens to women when they sleep around a lot. So check this video out.
She's willing to sleep with a lot of guys, you know, and just hop in and out of bed. And she's not terribly particular, and she doesn't have to pair sex with emotion. Then when that girl's willing to sleep with you, you're like, is it really about me? It's not about you, because she's willing to do that with all these other guys too.
Hold up.
So is she really out for love,
Ooh-wee.
or is she not?
I do wonder about the quality of the guys as well that she's choosing to either sleep with or go on a date with.
Well, the article said that she was meeting most of these people, at least that she hooked up with, on dating apps.
So it could go 50-50
Right.
because you just never know on a dating app. It could be a Tinder situation or a.
I would venture to say
Yeah.
it's not really happening on date. I mean, a lot of people are meeting through dating apps, but a lot of times those initial interactions don't work out. It might be something that's developed over time. It's like, oh yeah, we maybe used to hook up, and then we finally came back together once we came to our senses, right? But a lot of people aren't on dating apps trying to find love. They're on dating apps trying to
Find a friend.
trying to feel good.
Trying to feel good.
Trying to feel the need of like feeling wanted by somebody.
Yeah.
On both sides.
On both sides.
Yeah. So. Yeah.
So it's not particular to you. There's not something special going on with you necessarily now. The trick here is maybe there is something going on with you that is special for that girl. Maybe you are different, but because of her behavior with everybody else, because she is in and out of bed with everyone, and you are one of those numbers, and you know that you're one of many, you're not going to be able to even perceive that you are special. Because to you, it's going to be like, well, she's not discerning at all. So how would I even know if I was special? How would I even know if I mattered more than all of these other guys? If she's willing to
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's like you won't even know because it sometimes it's not even you. Sometimes she's just so damaged that she can't see.
Yeah.
The scales are over her eyes. Her heart's been hardened to where she's not able to see the value of what you bring. And that's when you as a person, whether this is we're talking about a guy or a girl or a girl dealing with a guy or a guy dealing with a girl. This is where you have to have discernment to be like, hey, I'm not going to subject myself to this. My soul is worth more according to my values. You should never compromise your values in yourself just because, this is the woman of my dreams. Like she looks like that woman or she fits the description. Because that's what a lot of times what guys do is they'll excuse a lot of BS because,
She's
She's
attractive.
fine.
she's attractive.
Yeah.
Or I don't know when the next time I'll be able to pull a girl like this. It's like, no, you got to have some confidence. Have some confidence in your principles and in your values and then see where life takes you.
Yes.
Right? And especially for guys, like, I mean, as you get older, you're going to become more attractive. It just happens. It just happens. It just happens.
That's true. You get more into
You
yourself.
attain, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
but-
and you attain more, and
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
the
But-
peppered look, like.
But you're
oh,
also
Yeah.
but you also gain more confidence because you're further along in your career generally.
Yeah.
Generally. So I mean there's some people that still, are downtrodden by life, but in general guys are when they hit their stride it's like, oh no, I'm feeling myself, and that's projected.
true.
It's projected through their appearance and how in the manner in which they carry themselves.
Yep.
Because like, be honest, it's hard for guys when they're younger, unless they're like athletes who are like, oh no, I'm the man in my sport,
Right.
to project great confidence, because most of the time girls are going to just reject them anyway. Right? And so that's why mother's love is important. So if you weren't loved by your mother, I mean, yeah, hard life. Sorry for you. Sorry for you. But yeah, y'all have any final thoughts? All right, here's my final sip. The health of our society mimics what we champion. If we champion selling out, that's supposed to be selling out, we will sell ourselves cheap as well. And this goes for the heart of our country. So this doesn't just pertain to, just sleeping around with people. It's in everything that we do. If we are willing to compromise, good, strong values that lead to flourishing in the long run, but maybe discipline in the short run, then we'll end up selling our souls for cheap if we're not able to stand on them. And so that's what we think.
Bruh.
Not bruh.
I have
That's
something. Never mind. My final thought is God made you and he values you, so value yourself. Okay.
Agreed.
All right. That's what we think. We would love to know what you think. When we come back, we will be talking about, what are we going to be talking about? Oh, yeah. What is it? Arianna? Oh, Megan Fox and why she hates men. So stay tuned. Keep it locked here on Quality Entertainment. Like for the algorithm.
Hey guys, welcome to the Conscious Outlet Podcast. We are officially a part of the Quality Entertainment Network, and we are so happy to be here.
Oops.
Can you? Yeah.
No, they can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh my God, I always do that.
It What is up, quality people? We are back like we never left, making sure my audio is good. It should be. Remember, we're at 797 subscribers, trying to make it to 1,000. Make sure you follow us at all the socials linked there. We got a great show lined up for you. Got Kenny in the house, got Miracle in the house. Make sure that you... Like for the algorithm. We're on a mission to spread some practical religion. Now, Megan Fox hates men, and Candace Owens and Matt Walsh had a little, interaction of reading her poetry, and it's great. But before we get into that,
I got a question.
And that question is, what's wrong with the modern woman's mentality? What is wrong with it, guys?
I mean, that's a big question. So
It's a
I don't even know where to start.
I feel like it's a fair question. Start with something, because I need to know.
We lack discernment and wisdom, for sure.
Okay.
That's probably where it can begin.
Okay, so keep that thought. Go ahead.
Okay. Pop up the question again.
I got a question.
I don't know. I agree. Like, you could start anywhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That's supposed to be woman, by the way, not women. You gotta pick something though.
Okay, I'll pick something. Okay, okay. I guess similar to the last segment, just like a lack of value in themselves.
Okay, hold that thought. All right, here's my first sip. Not my final sip. Here's my first sip. Because feminists have the view that the patriarchy is evil, they aim to be the opposite of everything it leads, even the good.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's very true.
I
So-
feel like both of ours
Yeah,
is in there.
yeah,
Yeah. So, like, I mean, things that men have led. So, okay, Christianity led by men, biblical values led by men. It's like, no, we're going to throw out all of that out the window because we're trying to establish matriarchal dominance, right? That is our goal. We've not even fighting for equal rights anymore. We want to fight to topple that and
Yeah.
actually flip the power dynamic, which
Agreed.
is probably not going to work out in your best interest in the way that you're doing it. Now, if there was production, like productive things happening as a result,
Yeah.
okay, well, yeah, that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But just to topple the patriarchy, just to do it, it's like,
Just out of spite,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
never works out
The
because
thing-
there's no real foundation behind that.
Right.
Exactly.
The way in which they're going about it is completely wrong.
Yeah.
And I think this, short of Candace Owens and Matt Walsh reading Megan Fox's poetry is a good example of just that.
This one is entitled Why I Wish I Was Gay. Ready? It doesn't matter how beautiful, loyal, nurturing, sexy, witty, smart, or altruistic you are. He will still take you for granted.
That's a really that's
That's
a
a-
really upsetting viewpoint on the entire male population. That's really sad in relationships in general.
but I think this whole poetry book is based off of her relationship with Machine Gun Kelly.
I thought the same thing.
And it's like, well, you chose
yeah,
him, you chose his value system, there was something about him that you chose.
exactly.
And
Something that resonated with you.
Yeah, and it's not like he just changed out of the blue. You probably just didn't see it sooner.
Everything. I mean, she knew who he was before she got with him. I mean, he's never changed, and everything that she probably eventually decided that she didn't like probably was just amplified. I don't think it changed.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's like, you knew who this man was, and he
Yeah.
wasn't going to change. And then now it's like, oh,
You drank his blood.
yeah, see,
Yeah.
that's her problem.
Well, that was a problem. Yeah.
No, one, that's a problem, but that's
Yeah.
a metaphor for the problem as a whole of like, why are you doing all of these crazy things for this guy and with this guy only to be like, oh, he's going to take you for granted. And also, how egotistical is it to insinuate, oh, it doesn't matter that I'm so pretty and so smart and
I'm
so
the
this
best.
and so that.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to take you for granted. And so
Like, sis, speak for
so
yourself.
if I'm all of these things and I always get taken for granted, then you have no hope.
Exactly.
You little person down there,
Yeah.
you have no hope. Like,
That's what I.
so-
That's literally
that's
what
so
I think when I
demeaning.
see things like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, so you're so great, and you got taken advantage of. So I have no hope. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you chose wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Like-
that, like just choose better.
Yes.
Have your your value systems in place and choose better.
Yes.
Have your choice match up to your value system.
Yes. Don't choose out of fear or lust either.
Yes.
Yeah, so that was just the first poem. The second one is it's a
The end
doozy.
of the poem.
Yeah.
That was
No,
it.
that's it. That's
That
the whole
was it.
poem.
Yeah, that's the whole poem.
Oh, well, I just wanted it to continue because it was so I was so
yeah.
captivated.
If this
by
is
it.
poetry,
I'm gonna
I
read you the
can
next
I
one
can
'cause
I can
this
write
is
a
actually
poetry
the
book,
speaker.
okay?
Okay, hit me with it.
This one is
Here's the second
called
one.
7, the number of completion. I hate men.
Hey, she's going biblical now. So first line, I hate men. Let's hear the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh line.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I hate men. 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 I hate men.
But just does not sit right in my spirit. Like her.
Well, I just
Who
want to
would buy
say,
this?
Candace, that the poem is beautiful, but I also want to commend you on your performance of it, which I thought was.
You know,
Yeah,
when
I
I
thought
got
it
to
was
the
great.
third I hate men, something happened for me.
I could tell that it did.
So this one is entitled Why I Wish I Was Gay.
They
So,
are
yeah.
funny.
They are.
So it's just crazy. It's like, I hate men. I hate men.
Yeah.
One, she has a huge following of women, and she's like, oh, here you go. These are my thoughts on men, and this is what you should think too. And it's, oh, yeah, don't be heterosexual.
Yeah. I wish
Yeah.
I was gay.
Yeah, go
Like,
be
that's-
gay, right? You
Like
know?
if you
Girls
can
are
help
better.
it, go be gay.
Yeah.
Which is actually not true, but
No.
yeah.
But then also on the other side is like, oh yeah, I hate men. Oh,
That's
by the
so
way,
sad.
I hate men.
if you didn't
Oh.
hear me the first time,
I hate men.
Here's a
Like,
few more
it's
times.
unbelievable. It's like you need men. Like, just
Exactly.
as men need women. Like we are meant to be together and to thrive on we wouldn't have made it this far as a species if
very true.
we weren't, cooperating together,
Yep.
man and woman.
Without
we would
the
have been
other, we would
extinct
perish.
a
Yeah.
long time ago. And so the fact that a lot of these women's, like a lot of feminists, their notion is do away with all men. Because I've seen plenty of videos on the internet where it's like I wish all men would just, go in a hole and disappear essentially.
yeah.
That's not going to be helpful for anybody, lest you especially. Because if men were to completely disappear off this earth, it would be
We'd have
a
no light, we'd
crap
have no
show.
gas, we'd have no food.
And I'm not doing any of it.
Yeah,
so
like-
we just gonna have to all
Like Alan was saying, when he goes on his, business trips and he sees, people going up on the tall turbines and stuff and doing work up there, it's 99.9% of the time is going to
Yeah.
be a man.
And most of the time, if you do see any woman, it's usually mainly masculine looking women.
Right.
And so that should show you right there that those type of fields for men that we need, at least structurally, we need men. And so it's like, can we just find a way to complement each other?
Yeah, but I guess the bigger question is if you want to do away with men, are you going to be willing to take on the sacrifice that it would take to, build yourself up like that so that things can get done?
No.
And the answer is almost no, because a lot of times these women just want things handed to them,
Yeah.
and they feel entitled. And so that's why they feel entitled to have that certain opinion, which they certainly are entitled to. But that doesn't mean that my opinion has to be entitled
Yeah.
to agree with yours. And so that's why we can have our platform, you can have yours.
Absolutely.
But we're going to tell you what we think, just as you told us ours.
Yep, because I have that right. Not gonna take away my voice.
Yeah, it is.
America.
Merc.
Merc.
That's right.
Yeah, so, I mean, here's the final step. So, women cannot both evolve and advance and erase men at the same time. It is a self-destructive act. Like, you're just never going to get anywhere, excommunicating men from existence, essentially. It's not going to work, but I mean that's just what we think. We want to know what you think. And when we come back, we're going to give you our thoughts on Arianna Grande being a home wrecker. So you're going to want to stay locked in on the Quality Entertainment Network.
Like for the algorithm.
About that knee drop.
We're going to work through this track meet in Birmingham, get ready for the Nationals, and hope to put in a good performance.
Just making sure she pushes out of both legs, out of the blocks, and not just relying on one leg. Let's go do it.
Welcome back, all you quality people. We are here. It's me. It's Miracle. It's Kenya. Thank you for tuning in. We want to remind you that Profitable Conversations will be live on Tuesday, so look out for that scheduled live stream. And make sure that
Like for the algorithm.
like for the algorithm, because we're on a mission to spread some practical religion. Now, we do have a comment. It says from T-Mac. Hello, quality. Josh looking handsome, and Kenya and Miracle, you two are beautiful. Thank you, Mama Mac, for the kind words, and thank you for tuning in. Now we got to get down with the get down. Arianna is proud to be a home wrecker.
Oh my God!
It is unbelievable what a lot of these women are on nowadays. Now, she has a new song that came out called Yes And, basically responding to all the criticism of people saying that, you know, you're being a bad person. You broke up this man's home. You went out, filmed a show, and, excuse me, one of your co-stars you took a liking to. And that same co-star, he was married. And now you two are together and their family is in shambles. You should feel very proud of yourself. Nah, you shouldn't.
Bruh.
Now, she has, we're just going to read some of these lyrics really quickly before we get into what we really want to talk about. But before we do that, I'm going to give you my first sip. So, true freedom requires constraint. And that's important because, and that question is, are women taking liberation too far?
Absolutely.
Like this
Yes.
whole movement of, oh, I'm liberated, I'm free.
Yeah, because overall, technically, you're not really free because you've found yourself in situations like wrecking a home, or you found yourself mentally not able to have conversations or be on a date because you're so sexually liberated. It's just, no.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
No.
I completely agree. I mean, they're bound by what they're doing. I mean, the word talks about this being bound by sin, and it's the same thing. It's definitely not freedom. It's not liberation. You are bound by this thing where you are now simply your base desires, whether that's your attraction towards power or your problem with lust. Like, these things are being amplified and you can't control it. And now, as you act on these things, you are affecting other people's lives.
Which is sin, like as you said. Wow.
No, yeah, that's very well said. Let's look at some of these lyrics here and blow it up. So it says, in case you haven't noticed, well, everybody's tired and healing from somebody or something we don't see just right. Well, let me think about this, because I don't think everybody is healing from something.
Nah, I don't know.
I understand you have a long history of stuff, of like just different partners and different situations, and I don't know what's gone on in her personal life, but everybody's not healing from somebody.
No.
Now, we all have different relationships that, you know, sour over time,
Right.
but that doesn't mean we have to necessarily, you know, we went through some traumatic experience or relationships that just fizzle out over time. That's just a natural course of how relationships can, you know, take its, or how the relationship runs. But to say that, you know, everybody's healing from somebody is kind of a ridiculous notion to begin with. And it's a form of projection, which is the same thing that they try to say that we do. They're just projecting onto us. But you in your own song are saying, no, everybody's healing. It's like, no, maybe that's just you.
Yeah, and the fact that it's interesting because since I know what the song is about and I'm looking at those first few lines about healing, it's like you're trying to make an excuse for your actions by saying, oh, I did all this because I'm healing, or
I'm not perfect, so it's okay for me to do it.
Exactly. Yes.
No, yeah, that was good. I like that. All right. So, pre-chorus. Boy, come on, put your lipstick on. No one can tell you nothing. Come on and walk this way. That's like that walk this way. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Through the fire, don't care what's on their mind. And if you find yourself in a dark situation, just turn on your light and be like, oh, but I mean, if you're in a dark situation,
Yes, and
I didn't know if you were in a dark situation, you could just turn on your light. It's like, well, you wouldn't be in a dark situation if your light was just always on.
you know, that makes me think of, when you not call out, but you hold someone accountable and then they're like, well, I'm a good person. Even though I made this terrible decision, I'm still a great person. That's kind of what that line makes me think of.
Yeah. All right. So getting into the chorus. Yes, and say that S with your chest, and be your own effing best friend. Say that S with your chest. Keep moving like what's next. Yes, and. So be your own best friend. I mean, it's just like, oh, screw the world, screw everybody, screw,
People
all
in
those
your
guys,
life. Yeah.
essentially.
Right.
Be your own best friend. And it's like, to a degree, yes, you need to have some self-respect. You need to treat yourself in the manner in which you treat others, because ultimately how you treat yourself bleeds over into how you treat others.
Absolutely. But in this context, she doesn't mean that. And
No,
a lot of
not at
people
all.
will take it in the way of be your own best friend. Oh, I don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
follow my own desires. I follow my own heart.
I
I
am
give
my
into
own
my
God.
carnal desires.
Yeah, and how I see that line is be your own best friend is like, okay, so what if your real life best friend is telling you, hey, you shouldn't be doing this? It's like, oh, disregard them and just continue doing your own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you constantly only listen to your desires and what you want, and you never seek out wise counsel, and you never work on improving people, or not improving people, but improving yourself by taking in information from other people's experiences before you have to go through it yourself, then you're in self-destructive mode, right? Because nobody has all of the answers.
Exactly.
And that's why you should always be, reading books and stuff. But do you say it with your chest? I'll say this with my chest. You need to get some help. And generally, I think she's a phenomenal singer, and she's actually put out, quite a few songs that are, pretty good. But the messages in some of the songs, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, terrible.
They have been
Terrible.
There's a huge shift because I used to love Ariana Grande when she first came out because she was Cat Valentine for me because she played Cat on Victorious.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And that was my show, and I loved Cat. And so when she became Ariana Grande separate from that, I was like, oh my God, she's putting out music. I love her voice, yes. And her first few albums, good messaging overall, voice amplified on it and everything. But like you said, the past couple of years, I would say, past few albums, they're very sexually charged. And I just thought, okay, maybe, industry's telling her to kind of do that. All right. But the shift in her personality is evident as well.
But
Yeah.
also,
And
when you're a pop star, you have to do what sells.
Exactly.
Like, you go to your A&Rs and the people who are responsible for pushing out the music. You might have made like a really good song that's deep about maybe your life experience, and you play it for them, and they're like, oh yeah, great song. Yep, put that in the vault because that's never going out.
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to like it. And the reality is, people probably would. It may take a little bit longer for them to catch on, but good music is good music.
Yeah.
And it will age as such. It will age like a classic. But immediately, they won't get that immediate return on whatever the biggest box offer numbers right out the gate, which is, what they are always looking for when they run the numbers. So, I mean, that's the bigger problem. I'm going to try to pull up this clip of, how Ariana's essentially just gone down and through all these different partners and how they've overlapped with other people having partners. Let's see if this will play, because I didn't cue up the... Okay, I got no sound. Okay, whatever. We'll move on to the next thing. So my next question is, because one of the big things that a lot of feminists are pushing is that having an affair is actually a form of self-care. That didn't know they were writing bars like that. I might have to get some of these feminists in the studio and come lay a verse or something. I might have to check them on their content, but they're coming up with
they're not
taglines
welcome
like
here.
that. Okay. You said they're not welcome here?
No.
No, they'll just send it over the computer. You know, they'll never
Okay.
step foot. Yeah.
That's funny because I mean, people use witty lines like that as their Bible, essentially. I mean, think about how many quotes you see randomly going around on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. If it sounds good, that is my new philosophy.
Yep, it's in my bio now.
Yep, exactly. That is my philosophy. Like the whole make money, not friends. Oh, that sounds good. That's my philosophy.
MOB.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's not surprising that the feminists found a way to take a destructive concept like this and twist it for their narrative to make it their own. I'm not surprised by that at all. And then on top of that, they made it sound catchy. So if it's catchy, it's going to catch on.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that. That was a bar. That was quality.
I just did it
That's a
myself.
quotable right
New
there.
philosophy.
There you go. So it says, this is a Bustle article, when having an affair is an act of self-care. And so I wanted to get to a specific part. It was down here. It says, let's see. Okay. Is it pushing it too far to say that having an affair can be self-care? Nope. Not at all. Look at it right here, people. Nope. Not at all. We literally have a whole episode on whether or not having an affair is the new goop. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It doesn't
So-
matter how.
Sorry. So you have a whole episode.
Promoting. Yeah, go have an affair, girl. If you need it.
Do it for you.
That's terrible.
Do what serves you.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
That's
so selfish. That's so selfish. If you want to have an affair, break up with your boyfriend. Break up with your fiance. If you're married, you can't. I'm sorry.
I can't believe
you
this
can't
even needs to be
leave.
said. I can't believe this even needs a conversation on how wrong that it is. Like, I can't believe there are thought pieces promoting this. That is
Just
wild.
so matter of fact. No, not at all.
Yeah. No,
Totally
not at
okay.
all. It's definitely okay. If you want to do it, if it serves you, they love to say that, then it's fine. It's all good. Oh, but if your man does it, oh, he got to go.
Right.
Go ahead and get him. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do they expect like their man to be able to stay?
Right. What if that's their self-care? What if them cheating is their self-care? Things like this, I really have no comment on because it's so utterly ridiculous to
Out of left field.
to comprehend that we're really
Thinking that's okay.
we're really in this type of culture right now. I
It's
never
wild.
thought I would see it. Like,
And it's only going to get worse.
it's only going to get worse. Arianna, I don't know what you're going through.
So it
but-
says, we talk to women who say it is, or who say it is. This is what they do for themselves. They don't get a massage. They don't do yoga. They have an affair.
Hold up.
What in God's name does that even mean? Oh, I'm not.
I'm feeling
those
stressed
don't
today.
even.
Let me go
those
cheat
don't
on my
even
man.
remotely
Yeah.
relate to each other.
Not at all.
Oh, I don't go to yoga.
It's
I
just-
don't go get a massage, which are activities that you do. Oh, the activity that I do is I cheat on my husband.
The thing about it,
That is unbelievable.
It is. We live in a culture where whatever makes you happy takes precedence over everything.
Yeah.
And so if that makes you happy, go do it. Is essentially what she's saying.
But real.
Because it doesn't matter who it affects though, because it doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
But does that?
If it makes you happy, it's fine.
But does that really truly make you happy
Absolutely
to
not.
see, to know that you have cheated on your partner? the person that you said you would be faithful to. And
It
I
doesn't
get it
matter.
that men
Yeah.
have the stigma that, oh, men can cheat and get away with it and whatever. That's not the point. Like, the point is, if you're with a good person and y'all have made vows to each other, and then you actively go choose to step out on the arrangement that y'all have, you're a scumbag. You're the scum of the earth because you're going back on your word.
What's always the excuse? I'm not happy. I'm not happy, so I did this terrible thing to you.
Yeah, massages didn't work, yoga didn't work, but
You're not making me happy, so I made myself happy. That's always the excuse.
And that goes back to being empty, because true joy and true happiness comes from serving other people. And when you see the joy on other people's faces with you serving them, then it's like, oh, great.
Exactly.
Love that. But no, not
But
for
of
them.
course, what's the line? Do what serves me.
It's all about me.
It's all about me. Narcissistic culture.
But then that's how you end up lonely and the total opposite of happiness.
Yes.
Because you're alone now.
Because these aren't long-term solutions to your problem.
No.
They're not. And you're going to wonder how you got here. Well, because every decision you made was for
about
you.
you.
Yeah.
Wake up, people. Wake up. Okay.
Yes. Come on. Come on. Go deeper. Go deeper. Because this isn't it. Giving into your base desires like this is not it. Don't let your mind get you in trouble.
All right, so let's take a look before we close. It says, I thought it was fascinating that Nikki said her affairs made her more confident at work. The sexier she felt, the less she cared about what her colleagues thought of her. Is that something you heard from other women? Constantly. We heard it from every single woman that we interviewed, and that was one of the things that blew my mind. What type of women were they getting?
Exactly. That's what I
All
was
of them
thinking.
said it made them more confident in every single aspect of their life, from work to their marriage. It's like, oh, because I got with John down the road, I'm more confident in our marriage and I could actually function. It's like, no.
That doesn't-
Like, if you're going through like a rough spat in any relationship, you should just work through it. The solution's not to go and literally cheat on the other person.
There's such a lack of empathy now.
Right.
About how your actions can affect other people.
No, that's real. And so most women told me that they think the affair has improved their marriage. Really, it made them happier. It's made them more confident in the bedroom with their spouse because they felt like they could ask for what they wanted and they knew how to enjoy themselves a little bit better. I talked to a lot of women who say just the act of thinking about an affair, maybe putting themselves out there on sites like Ashley Madison, made them feel more confident because it made them feel more desired again.
Why
if
not
you're,
just go ahead?
yeah, if you're not feeling desired, go talk to your husband about
Tell
that.
your man.
The thing about it, it kind of goes back to what we were saying in the last segment about how the newness is just easier. And so I understand the thought process of, okay, I can get this new man and do all these new things with him because we have no history and it's more exciting. Whereas with this man I've been with for 30 years, we have a routine. We're kind of stuck this way. Neither one of us probably put in any real effort anymore. If I ask him to do something sexually, he may not even want to do it. So now, because I did this affair, I have the confidence to bring that feeling into this marriage now. And that's kind of what I believe is the mindset behind that. And it's still ridiculous because at the end of the day, when it comes to marriage, your job is to continue to make it new. Because at the end of the day, you're people and you're going to get tired of each other. Because now
But you got to figure out how to
one.
relate with people beyond the tiredness and the monotony that sets in. Because that actually shows more character and you're more multidimensional. Like you're actually a fuller person when you're able to push through that and to work through things and overcome things rather than saying, oh, this didn't work out. All right, screw that.
Like,
I'm on
I'm
to the
bored.
next
Do the
thing.
easy Next thing. One, I'm
Right.
bored.
That's the problem with everything in our society is, oh, we get bored of it, we trash it, and we get something else. That's kind of the problem with this consumerist mentality is that, okay, all right, I've had enough of you. on to you.
Yep.
I've had enough of you. Yeah. No, I already had you. All right. I want a different flavor.
Exactly.
But what happens when you run out of flavors?
Yeah.
Because there's only but so many flavors, and then they just start mixing a bunch of stuff together that's
Or you
Doesn't-
can't even
has
get
no
another
business.
flavor. It's not allowed to you anymore. Can't even get it offered to you anymore.
That is so true.
Yeah. So Maxo writes. That is not it. Maxo writes. Just music hasn't been the same like it used to be in general. Now it's like, what is the next trend? And that's what they want to follow to promote sin. If you give a sin an inch, it will give you a mile.
That's right.
No, that's
good.
absolutely. Yeah. And so, I mean, I used to be big into music, especially in college. I would play, like, people would be like, oh, yeah, let Prophet do the aux or whatever. Because I just was always in love with music. I have just know a lot of different genres and appreciate all aspects of music. But now it's like, when I hear something new, I'm like, dang, I heard this song a couple years ago.
Yep.
From a guy with a slightly different name. He had a little in front of his name, just like this guy does too. Or, I mean, even pop music is just kind of the same old,
That's where I'm at now.
recycled stuff. And it's good to have like nostalgic sounds, but when you are copying the same cadence and singing the same pitch, you don't differentiate yourself
Yeah.
from anybody else. And so a lot of the music that you hear now is going stale, which is why you appreciate when people like Kendrick Lamar comes out or like a J. Cole, people like that, because they bring a brand new dynamic and dimension and depth to the musical experience and the listening experience to the actual art. And so you don't even necessarily have to agree with what they're saying, but because their music is speaking in a more artistic way, you can actually appreciate it.
Exactly.
Because it feels like, oh, they actually took the time and their heart is actually in this, rather than their eyes fixed on the dollar amount that
Yup.
they may receive, which that's the kind of the travesty of just the whole music industry in general, and how like all these big companies do things for profit over doing things to be for the social good.
Yep.
But then they often have these social corporate responsibility, departments and, like foundations and stuff to make them appear good.
Yeah.
But their intentions are actually evil in nature. So, here's the final sip. Self-care is displaying good character, discipline, and integrity to yourself, because how you treat yourself bleeds into how you treat others. It will always bleed into how you treat others. It will always bleed into your mentality of how you go about just attacking things in your daily life. And so if you haven't and are constantly trying to improve your discipline, trying to improve the character of who you are, and making sure you're a person of good character when you're by yourself, of course, you're going to end up like Ariana Grande, because the word on the street is she has no remorse for what she's done. So I hope she learns.
Me too.
And I hope you learn to stay with us, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about degenerates attempting, but not succeeding, to twerk on a pastor. So stay locked in to Quality.
Fight for the algorithm.
Hello, Miss Kenya McIntosh. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
How does it feel to be a Beyonce?
It feels great that I have a fiance.
What was your initial reactions?
Initial reactions was I was just processing the whole thing, like as it was happening, and I was freaking out a little bit because I was like, I know the words to the song, but I couldn't get the words out.
Yeah, I even messed up on one part. But they're not even gonna know, because I'm just gonna put the actual song over it. So
But yeah.
yeah, Show it all. Show that finger. Oh.
Yeah, so initially I was like just in shock, and then after a couple days of thinking back on it and pondering and everything, I'm just like very excited.
Are you ready to be a prophet?
Yeah, like when I was at the bank today to set up my business account, and she was like, "Okay, bye. Have a Merry Christmas." She was like, "Oh, what's your name gonna be?" I was like, "Miss Prophet."
There you go.
Yeah, so I'm excited. Excuse my hair.
Party with the prophets, baby.
Oh yeah, hashtag Party with the Prophets 2024.
It's rude.
No, it's not.
It's rude.
Nah, it was good. It's all good in the neighborhood. What's up, quality people? Welcome back. We're talking about rotting women and how they're rotting our culture. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to this edition of the Weekly Tea. I got me. I got Miss Miracle, Monique, and I got Miss Kenya McIntosh in the house. Make sure that you like for the algorithm. Shout out to Maxa. Let's hope that everyone is doing well and getting your message across, because all of you are doing a very good job. Keep it up. Yeah, God is with, you, but God is with us as well as we, carry out our message to the masses. He said, go forth and spread this gospel. And so we won't stop. We're not necessarily like a evangelistic I guess evangelistic would be the word, channel where we're, sharing the actual gospel, but we are trying to attack culture in a way to say, nope, this is not it. So counterculture in a sense, where we're saying, okay, look, let's think about how we can do this a better way. Let's take the principles and the values that we get from the gospel, and let's see how we can approach pop culture and change that for the better.
That's right.
Now we're just doing that, and we're just a little small channel, but as we grow, maybe we can get a little bit of influence, and maybe there's other channels. I mean, there are channels that do similar things to what we are doing that I think are a net benefit for society, because I think if more people have, these values that we are pushing across and that we will instill in, our generations that come after us, then I think the world will be better off. And so that is our mission. Thank you, Maxo, for the comment. Now, T-Mac says, this is in regards to working it out with your spouse. Absolutely. If something is not going right, let your spouse know. Y'all, hubby and I have been married going on 30 in a few months. Shout out to that.
Yes.
And we have fun, and LOL, we keep it going. We are all the flavor... then cut off shit. We are all the flavor we need. Ask Kenya. Yeah, Kenya. Come on, Kenya. Let us know. Let us know. Ask Kenya. She will tell you about me and her dad.
Yes,
tell us about us.
They love each other. They're great. They always flow well. They have a good partnership going on. They're always doing something. They're always out and about.
Yeah, they go to like jazz concerts, and they're always
jazz concerts, massages, doing random stuff on the week. Like, they're about it.
That's why they've been married so long. So shout out to them. Beautiful, beautiful relationship. We hope it continues to stay strong and that God blesses it from here and forever more. All right, now we need to talk about this. Degenerates, pure degenerates, attempt to twerk on a pastor while this street pastor was trying to give a sermon, trying to just spread this gospel out to the masses. Now, sometimes, in fairness, some of these street pastors be going overboard, and you just kind of got to learn, okay, they're not really trying to hear it. They're not going to be receptive. Move on. Just move on.
Right.
But in this case, this guy literally gets harassed, and if had this been a woman,
oh yeah,
or the other way around, just the roles were reversed, he would be in jail right now without bond. But before we get into the clip, I got a question. That question is, do women get away with more physical harm simply because they are women.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, do tell, do tell.
Absolutely.
I mean, you hear about it all the time with like babysitters, like they'll molest like the sons or the boys, and nothing ever happens. Like I've met quite a few people that's happened to. So yeah, absolutely. And even like domestic DV, that happens all the time where like the girl will like hit the boyfriend and nothing ever happens. So
yeah, it's interesting what you said about, DV, because statistically lesbian relationships have the highest amount of that going on. And that is an all-female dynamic right there. And so it kind of shows you how comfortable we are using our hands when it comes to other people. Because it's funny, because at the same time we want to be considered empowered, but we also know that we are the weaker vessel, as it says. And so
that's probably why y'all want to feel empowered, because y'all know that physically.
If you take it out of context, that can bring that feeling of wanting to feel empowered. Yeah.
No, yeah.
But yeah.
No,
I get it.
I think y'all are very powerful in your own way, and in ways that men can never be empowered in a sense. But yeah, if you take it out of context, the notion is, okay, we're physically not powerful enough, so we have to dominate in a different area. And so we express our dominance. So, and that just means since we're not physically powerful enough, it's almost like when they say black people can't be racist because
we don't hold the
we don't hold the power or whatever
in society or something like that.
Yeah, we don't hold the power.
The structural.
It's like, well, if you hate white people, then
that's racist.
That's still just wrong.
Yeah,
I don't care what you call it. It's still wrong.
Prejudice, racism.
Yeah, why
is it
matter.
Different?
Like, yeah, you're just wrong. Like, you need to change as a person.
Yes.
And so it's the same deal when you're talking about, okay, I just lost my train of thought. But it's basically equates to the same thing is what I'm trying to say. It's like women, yeah, you are powerful, even though you may not think that you are. In a sense. So let's get into this clip. Before we do that, here's my first sip. Women can get away with more because of the push to install matriarchal dominance. So I mentioned matriarchal dominance earlier.
Yeah.
And that's what feminism seems to be going after. It's no longer that, and a lot of men now are saying that, we need to change from the patriarchal way.
Yeah.
And it's like,
don't marry those
that
men.
A lot
it's like
college.
Okay, but you don't necessarily want the other sex to just completely dominate. That was the problem with the first. That was the problem with why they even had to, go on the whole women's rights movement in the first place.
Exactly.
Because they were getting unrighteously dominated.
And that's why I support early feminism. Because the right to vote, drive a car, get a job, I appreciate all of those rights. But what we're doing now, what are we even doing now? What's the agenda?
Extra for no reason.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at this clip.
I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want. I've got better one.
Is he laughing?
Yeah.
No.
It sounded like he was.
Well, I think it's like a nervous. It's like a nervous laugh.
Okay.
You know what's wild is men are still gonna be men because when he's a pastor, but when and she's not attractive at all.
No.
But when she approaches, he's like, "Hey, men, I'm telling you, men will be win." He was like, "Hey," he was like open, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute." He's like, "Wait a minute,
no.
The cameras are out here, and you ain't attractive at all. If this was behind closed doors, like really closed, slammed doors, vaulted doors, maybe. But right here, right now.
In fact, DM me after this.
Right now,
gosh, no.
you right now, no." I don't want it.
I don't want. I've got better one. I don't want this free stuff.
He said, I don't want. Who doesn't want free anything? He don't want it. I don't want it either. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got mine right here.
That's right.
I got mine right here. Man.
No, that's crazy.
That
I
is
mean,
crazy.
people always try to create chaos wherever they go, and especially when it comes to matters of Christianity and Jesus and everything like that. They just want to interrupt and cause chaos. They
Antichrist spirit.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And you know, we knew this would happen in the last days. So, yeah.
Free stuff, come on. I don't want this free stuff. I don't want free stuff. I have better one. Hallelujah. I have better one at home.
Oh, she's trying to back it up on the.
She kind of looked like Debbie from Shameless.
Debbie.
I know.
Wow, yeah, she kind of does. Like older Debbie.
Yeah.
I've got better one at home. I don't want this. I don't want this. You don't know where they are. I've got better one. We'll show them what they were doing. I've got better one.
It's just not cute.
It's not like what.
But they're
what
not
do you
trying
hope
to be
get?
cute.
I know they're not trying to be cute, but it's just
They're
like,
trying to say, hey,
They
I'm
think it's
spitting,
funny, though.
I'm spitting in the face of your God and your values.
Yeah.
Right? Because the thought is that, oh, you wouldn't accept me for me,
Yeah.
which we absolutely will.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if I accept you for you and we enter into this, I guess, it would be a relationship where, you know, in a relationship, people influence each other. You shouldn't leave, or you should become a better person. You should grow out of, you know, some of the things that you hold now, in
Yeah.
a sense. And so if you're holding this notion, because I believe this young lady was with another young lady towards the end of the video, that, okay, you're not going to accept my lifestyle or whatever. Okay, cool. Then we can just go our separate ways.
Yeah.
If that's the case. But if you want to interact with me and, you know, even have a dialogue, we can respectfully disagree. We can respectfully have a debate. But if you're just going to spit in my face and be disrespectful to the point where it's harassment, well, you should probably go to jail.
Yeah.
But of course, we know that's not going to happen because of this point. They're trying to install matriarchal dominance. And this is just another way that they're doing it. So, yeah, T-Mac, I also feel some of these young women were not raised in a way to have respect for themselves. They do not care what they do. And yeah, that goes back to my point earlier. Because they don't have respect for themselves, because behind closed door, they're not people of integrity. They're not people of good character, right? They don't have great discipline, and they just go whatever the, you know, progressive left tells them is the new wave. Then they're not, they're just falling for anything because they don't actually stand for something. They're just fed whatever, they're babies. They're just getting fed whatever whatever daddy gives them, whatever Mama Hillary gives them, you know. So it's just a wild, and that's why you get this. And this is in the UK.
Back off. Back off. Stop it. Don't touch him.
Oh, whoa.
Don't touch him.
How are you going to say don't touch me, but you're touching this man and he did not ask you to touch him?
Yeah.
So there, and see, that's the problem, is she's like, don't touch me.
Right, but you can touch someone else.
But I am entitled, right? I'm entitled to touch you however I want and embarrass you and demean you and emasculate you however I want.
Because you're doing something
but
I don't
you
like.
Can't touch me.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that it's almost like this is more of a masculine way of behaving.
Oh,
when
absolutely.
she's like barking and being so assertive. But
Like, why are you really trying to fight this man?
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
what are you bucking at him for? Because if he were to actually put his hands on you, you would crawl into your fetal position and cry.
Maybe he hit me.
Yes.
Now-
like, stop it.
Now
Stop it.
this
Stop.
guy does a very good
Get some
job
help.
of saying, hey, I'm not touching her,
I'm not
and
touching
saying
her.
and proclaiming, because all it would take, we saw the Jonathan Majors case, the video. All it would take is, you know, just
A
you
little
moving
nudge.
her out of the way a little bit.
And because you
Like,
are
whoa.
stronger,
Yeah.
she did
Yeah.
go a little far.
Maybe
I
fell
got
down
a bruise.
Yeah.
I got a bruised
Oh my
knuckle.
God, you cut me. Like, yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
nah.
Before I became saved,
They hate themselves as much as they hate us.
no.
that hate themselves as much as they hate us.
What?
These talking points. Like,
See, but that's the problem. That's why I say they always accuse people of projecting, and they do the projection.
Yes.
They always do the
because
projection.
when did anyone say they hated you?
No.
Yeah.
Like, even when we react to, people's content, and sometimes we'll get, oh, you shouldn't judge, or you're projecting or whatever. And it's like, no, we're just standing on our values.
Absolutely.
We're actually telling you, and we're telling you where we're getting them from. It's not like it's new information. We're saying, hey, we're Christian. We believe in this. And apparently you think being a Christian is, oh, don't judge. ELE.
Judge
Everybody
righteously.
love everybody.
Continue reading that scripture. Judge righteously.
Yeah, it says, judge lest not you be judged.
Exactly.
And so people don't ever complete the, well,
The whole thing.
the verse, much less everything around that verse.
The entire chapter. Exactly.
So you're judging everything that you do. Like anything that you do, you're making a judgment.
Yes.
Like, what do you want to eat this morning? You want to eat bacon or sausage? Do you want
sausage.
pancakes or waffles?
Well, why are you judging the bacon?
Yeah, what'd that pig do to you?
What did it do to you?
Oh, we're gonna be vegans.
Yeah, exactly.
What'd that plant do to you?
Right.
That plant was trying to live its best life.
Right. That plant was over there flourishing until you ate it.
Yeah. Plants are they're gonna evolve to be slumps, so they don't even look edible anymore because y'all eating all the plants off the dang planet.
Their chemical
It's
makeup is
crazy
going
with
to
all
like
this vegan
become
stuff.
nasty too.
Right.
Yeah.
So you won't eat them.
Yeah. It's crazy what they're doing.
We love you. That's why we are saving you from yourself.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
And so,
We love you. That's
look
exactly
at this.
it.
Look at that. That is crazy. That is
I'm
crazy.
glad he said that. We
Me
love
too.
you. That's why we're trying to save you.
Yes.
But we all need to be saved from ourselves because
Exactly.
Absolutely.
if we continue trying to just go down the road of we're just going to do whatever and we're going to let that person just do whatever, it's going to lead to this anarchical society where nobody is in alignment with what anybody else is doing.
Yeah.
And everybody is an enemy of everybody else.
Yes.
Which is how you get that coup d'etat.
Yes,
Remember when
I
you were
was just
talking
thinking
about Leave the World Behind, that
Yep,
movie?
That Civil War.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, you're breaking down people's ideology so finitely to where even the slightest difference in philosophy between person to person makes that other person your enemy.
Exactly.
Well, that's a dangerous place to live.
It sure is.
A very dangerous place to live.
Yeah.
And so we got to have core values that we are grounded around and that we can say, okay, yeah, these are good and these are what we're going to live for, right? And that doesn't mean that we don't fall short. That doesn't mean that we don't have, there's times where we don't have that where we're going to have to repent and say, okay, made that mistake. Let me move forward from this.
Every day.
Yeah. But that does mean that we're constantly moving towards and forward to the best person that God would have us to be, more into the image of Christ. And that brings us to our final sip. And our final sip is, where is it at?
Oh.
Did I not put a final sip for this one? I don't know. I guess I didn't put a final sip. But
Gotta stop staying up late.
I wish I could. Yeah, I wish I could. But dang, I just know I have a final sip for this. This is crazy.
Do you remember it? Maybe you just say it.
I don't remember it. That's the problem. I thought I was gonna. Oh, I don't have a final sip. Oh, well, don't be woe is me.
Let's make up one.
Yeah, we can make up.
Okay.
All right. The bottom line is, you got to stand for something, or you will fall for anything. And people need to be saved from themselves, absolutely. And that is why we need values and principles that ground us all, right? When we come back, that's not the button I want to hit.
You did it twice.
Yeah, I know. They're blue on both pads, so they're on two different pages.
Oh my God.
But when we come back, Kenya is going to give her Faith and Beyond segment. So on wellness and on how to be balanced, and that all beginning with Jesus. So then I'm going to say, Jesus, take the wheel. And we will be right back when he drives us into our next segment on
Fight for the algorithm.
Gee.
About that knee drop.
We're going to work through this track meet in Birmingham, get ready for the nationals, and hope to put in a good performance.
Just making sure she pushes out of both legs out of the blocks and not just relying on one leg. Let's go do it.
Hey everyone, it's me, Kenya, obviously. We're going to get into this Faith and Beyond episode, but before we do, make sure you like the algorithm. And we are going to get into some cool stuff today. We're going to talk about wellness. And I feel like that goes perfectly with what we just talked about this whole segment, with all the degenerate activity these women are causing. So we're going to talk about wellness and the wellness girlies, the wellness community that we see on social media a lot. So pretty much something that I've noticed is a lot of these people that promote wellness tend to promote it without beginning with Jesus, and Jesus is the beginning of wellness, like true sound mind wellness. So before I get into it a little bit more, I want to start off with this question that I want you guys to answer in the comments.
I got a question.
Is mental health on decline because people reject Jesus? Because people reject Jesus. That is my question to you. The basis of this question is a lot of the wellness influencers and the wellness content creators, they seem to struggle the most when it comes to wellness, which is why I think they always promote all these different wellness things that you can do, like doing yoga, going to sound rooms, trying these different supplements. Like there's always something. They go to retreats and all this things like that. So the clip that I want to get into is this one that's about to pop up on the screen.
Day in my life vlog of a girl whose mental health has been a little rocky lately. So we're going to do some things that bring me joy, that make me happy. Here's my theory. It's really hard to stay stuck in your sadness when you are forcing yourself to do a bunch of things that you know are proven to bring you joy. So sometimes when I don't feel my best, I will jam pack my day with all of those things. The first is usually a workout, which
I feel like the big thing here goes back again to what we talked about earlier, which is doing things that make ourselves happy. And something that she said was joy. You find joy doing the things that you love. Whereas as Christians, our belief and our value is joy comes from the Lord. No matter what the circumstances, joy comes from the Lord. And something else I found interesting about the video was how she jam-packed her day doing a bunch of stuff. When I believe as Christians, when we find ourselves sad, we find ourselves in situations where we kind of just need a pick-me-up, picking up the Bible is the perfect place to go. Going to prayer and letting the Lord know how we feel in that moment is a perfect place to go. And then as we pour out our heart to the Lord, and as we dive into his word and understand more about who he is and more about who he wants us to be, that changes our mind, that changes our heart throughout the day. And we also come to experience him more. We also come to know more about who he is. We come to see him for who he is. And through that, just seeing how magnificent he is, seeing how he moves, seeing how powerful he is, that's what really will shift our mindset, shift our day into becoming more glorifying for him, more joyful, not spending money and doing a bunch of random stuff that is temporary in this life. Okay, let's continue.
I have zero motivation to do, but I give myself grace to give a bare minimum effort. I'm not in there trying to hit PRs. I'm not hard on myself. I'm just in there trying to move my body and get out of bed. During these times, I'm also usually not nourishing my body in the best ways, so I try to find my favorite places. That's my favorite smoothie place, and get some good meals in. You guys know I love matcha, so I decided to try out a new matcha place that I've been dying to try. They had a free little pop-up. The matcha was so good, and caffeine always lifts my mood. Picking your favorite environment to be in is a big one. This is one of my favorite areas to shop. I love retail therapy, so I love even just window shopping, so that's what I did. Finding some form of relaxation, for me, it was this pedicure. Yes, I leave the nail salon in those flip-flops. Don't judge me. I headed to an hour-long breathwork class, which I think had the biggest positive impact on my day overall. I really started to feel like I was turning a corner after that class. Then I got home and put on Love Island because that felt like a really good comfort watch. What was most important about this day is that I went to bed feeling much better than I woke up. And sometimes that's all you can ask for. Day in my life vlog of a girl who's...
So as you can see, like I was saying, like she jam-packed her day with a whole bunch of stuff that's temporary, that's really probably not going to get to the root of why she felt sad that day either. But my main point of this video is I enjoy her content. I love her content. I think she gives some really valuable tips. But I also think that doing all these little things to promote a life of wellness needs to begin with Jesus. And this whole thing is just a call to action pretty much. Like before turning to spending a bunch of money, before doing retail therapy, before going and working out, like seek the Lord, seek the word, see what it says, and be transformed that way first. And then everything else will come greater and come better. So some scriptures that I kind of wanted to point out was 1 Timothy 4:8. It says, "For while bodily training is of some value, godliness is a value in every way, as it holds promise for the present life and also for the life to come." So yes, taking care of ourselves, making sure that we're working out, making sure we're eating well is great. But if our spiritual health with the Lord is not in place, everything else does not matter. Point blank, period. And then another one was John 3:16 and 17. And of course, this is like a very popular scripture. It says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. For God did not send his son into the world to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be saved through him." We will only be saved, we will only be transformed through the Lord, through his teachings, through becoming more and more like him, not going to things that, like I keep saying, are temporary, things that will feel good in the moment, but what happens after that moment's over? What happens when you need to do it again? It's not a fix. And the last verse that I want to touch on is Proverbs 4:20 through 22. It says, "My son or daughter, be attentive to my words. Incline your ear to my sayings. Let them not escape from your sight. Keep them within your heart, for they are life to those who find them, and healing to all their flesh." And it says it right there. They are life and they are healing. His words are life and it's healing. You start there, that's your foundation, and then everything else will come into place. So that's what I have. Those are my thoughts. I want Miracle and Josh to jump in also with their thoughts. And what do you guys think?
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, no, I completely agree. Everything you said, you touched on every point perfectly. And the thing with this wellness content, I do love it. I mean, I watch it myself. I love all the different activities they suggest, but it was like you were saying, these things are temporary. They are for a temporary fix and a temporary situation to get you moving to the next moment. These things don't provide you a real grounded foundation through which you can have an everlasting joy, because that's ultimately what people want out of this type of lifestyle. They essentially want peace.
Yes.
And that's the thing that they're striving towards, which is peace. They have all this chaos and chaotic buildup in their head and all these things that, that happen throughout their lives. They just want a moment to just kind of sit in their peace. And the thing that they tend to forget about is that Jesus is their peace.
Exactly.
And that peace is already available to them. All they have to do is receive it. And so as much as I love this wellness content, I have to remind myself of that as well when it comes to it, because I'll find myself doing the same thing this creator did as well, which is fill my day up with a bunch of things to try to feel good at the end of the day, right? Whereas when I start with Jesus and I start with his word, I'm able to, one, cut down all these activities that I don't even need to do.
Yeah.
And I can just do them for fun as an add-on. And then on top of that, I find myself just in this perpetual state of joy because I know who I am and whose I am.
Yeah, I agree 100%. What do you think, Josh?
So I think anytime that you have to get joy from something else or peace from something else, or things out in the world, then it's not true joy and it's not true peace, right? It's fleeting emotion. So it's like, oh, you feel happy, you feel jovial, but those are passing emotions. True joy and peace, like you said, they're coming from the Lord. They're coming from being grounded spiritually. And so if you're using all of these things, you're filling your day with all these distractions, yeah, you might feel better by the end of the day, which is what she said, but you still haven't addressed the root of your problem, which is the fact that you aren't spiritually in a good place. You're not spiritually centered. And so you need to work back and do some self-reflection. And instead of cluttering your mind and your spirit with distractions, you actually need to be silent and still and listen to, what God has to say and, meditate on, okay, what is the best course of action moving forward so that I am always grounded? Because you can just be happy. Like there's people that are just happy in the world, and it's because they wake up and they're not bothering themselves with the troubles of this world. They're choosing to think about things in a different light and in a different perspective that allows them to have peace during any situation. So if things come up, it's like, oh, it's not the end of the world. It's like, oh, well, I'm still here, still got my family member. They're always finding the positive in things. But if you don't spiritually ground yourself, then you aren't ever going to get to that place, because if you just fill yourself with distractions, right, you're actually not working on your perspective. You're just trying to you're basically just going to fill up your car with gas that's just going to run out. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to I don't want to have to plug in my car. I don't want to have to fill up my car. It's like, Jesus, just take the wheel. Like we don't need any other power but that to drive this plane. And so that's why it's important that you address your problems not by the things of this world, but by actually releasing the things of this world, fleeing from those things. And so it's like when Jesus needed to get away, he went out to the wilderness, he went to the desert, he fasted. And so that's the model that we should be following is, no, don't attach yourself to the world when things are going bad. Detach yourself from everything, strip back everything, go on a fast, cleanse yourself out. And then now because you're emptying yourself for God to, pour more into you so that you are actually rejuvenated and revitalized.
Yeah, the fasting thing is a good point, and I can't believe I completely forgot about that because
Yeah,
I love fasting.
you're a big faster.
Yeah, but yeah, because fasting helps to put you back into alignment with God and His will and what we're intended to be and things like that. And that would have been the perfect thing for her to do, or any of us to do, when we're in situations where we just feel sad and we feel like there's no hope for us. That's the perfect place to go, is do a fast, be with the Lord, and be in a little bit of isolation. So that's a good point. So for the question, what do you guys think? Is mental health on decline because people reject Jesus?
Absolutely. That's absolutely it. Because at the end of the day, again, these people are looking for peace in their minds. And the reason we're seeing this mental decline is because people aren't allowing Jesus into their hearts. They're just not.
Yeah, so I think that is a fair assessment. The world going away from God means that they do have to attach themselves to the things of this world. And because their values and they're not choosing peace, which is something that we get from, being Christians and saying, oh, no, joy comes from the Lord. Or like, I'm going to praise Him anyhow. You have all these different things that remind you, okay, things will go wrong in the world, or you're not going to wake up feeling the best every day. But that's okay, because you still have life, right? You have life more abundantly. Like there's all these little things that you have when you are a follower of Jesus. But when you're not, then your joy and your perspective, and unless you choose to have a positive perspective all the time, which there are people who aren't religious that are like that, that's good. That's a good start. But for the majority of people, they need to find purpose and meaning in something. And if it's not in God, then it's in things that will let you down inevitably.
Yeah. Nice. Well, thank you guys for participating in Faith and Beyond. And thank you guys for watching. I believe this is the last segment, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you guys. Thank you to all the new subscribers that are with us. And what is the schedule? Woo. Okay. So Profitable Conversations will be back on Tuesday. He's going to do a conversation with Alan, I believe.
No, it's by myself.
Oh, by himself.
But I'm going to be
he's
breaking down
doing
some of the Conscious Outlet podcast.
Okay.
Some of the clips on Tuesday, probably Wednesday, and probably Thursday as well before I leave, so that we have some more content to put out.
Feel special.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah,
Okay.
just maybe like a different theme every day. But also, the weekly tea and our Sunday stream will probably be moved to Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Or we'll just scrap it because I will be out of town from Friday to Sunday. So, may not be a stream next week, but if there is, look for it early in the week of
this
or next week, I guess, since technically today's Monday.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but
Today's
also
Sunday.
Well, tomorrow, I'm about to say, yeah, tomorrow's Monday.
yeah. So this is the start of the week. So I was saying next week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be gone next Sunday. So
Okay.
you see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, make sure that you follow us on our socials, the Quality Group. So it's our Facebook group exclusive, and we post exclusive content. Ken just got some great prompts and posts that you can go and just further the discussions that we have here on our channel. Our Instagram page, we're trying to build that. So different clips and posts just to keep you encouraged throughout the day so that you have good quality, no pun intended, content running through your feed instead of all of this craziness that we generally react to on this channel. And then we have a Substack that will be coming soon where we'll be, writing deeper thoughts about some of the segments that we have, as well as just other in-depth thought pieces about just things that don't pertain to anything that we're reacting to on this channel as well. So we'll get you more information as that formulates. Back to Kenya.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like for the algorithm and hit that subscribe button. See y'all next time.
Like